The long wait is over and Apple's newest iPhone is finally here, which leaves three questions. First, is it awesome? Second, will people really pay another $200, over $1,000 for it? And then third, what does it mean for the stock price? We're joined by Steve Kovach, Chief Tech Correspondent at Business Insider. Steve, you have had the iPhone that everybody has been waiting for weeks. How is it?
I love it. I think it's the perfect form factor. 3 years ago, they brought in the bigger screens, and now they've kind of figured out how to make that bigger screen crammed onto a smaller body. And it's beautiful. It works. It's the most functional phone they've made so far. It's great.
Face ID working for you, the notch at the top that certain aesthetes are looking at and saying, oh, it's a horrible notch, it's wrecking my screen. Those things are okay?
Those things don't bother me. And in fact, Face ID was the thing I was more worried about than the notch itself. And we haven't been able to trick it. We brought identical twins into our office and it could tell them apart. We had one of our colleagues shave his beard and it could tell the difference after he shaved his beard. Darkness, brightness, you can't trick the thing.
So are people going to spend more for this? Should they wait, first of all?
It seems like they are. And what surprised a lot of people was the lack of excitement when the iPhone 8 launched a little over a month ago. There weren't lines, there wasn't a lot of hubbub, and people were thinking, oh my God, this is doom and gloom. But it turns out a lot of people were holding out for the iPhone 10 instead. So it seems like people aren't really scared away from that $1,000 price, and they're going to spend it anyway.
And Apple's hit a new high this week, all-time high on this. One of the things we've been talking about on the bottom line is that the stock tends to run up into new iPhone launches, especially around major ones like this. This is reminiscent of the iPhone 6, which was the first big screen. Right. Ran up for more than a year into that. And the question is, what happens now? And one of the things we looked at this week are some of the analyst reports on this. And one thing that's interesting that's happening is that because of the supply constraints around the X, I think it's called the 10.
10, yeah.
So cool they call it the X, is that analysts are now saying that this might actually help the stock because it's going to prolong this upgrade cycle. And so you do think that people will wait for it?
Yeah, it's going to bleed into next quarter easily. Right now, if you were to go to the Apple Store today or online and try to order one, it's going to be a 6-week wait, and that wait time is not going to diminish, most people estimate, until well into spring. And so by the time it gets to the point where you can go into a store and buy one, we're going to be in February or March.
So it extends into next year. A couple of other points for you out there. Piper Jaffray did a survey. They found that 50% of people are planning to upgrade their iPhone this year. Compare that to last year. In normal years, it's only 35%, so expecting to see a lot there. They're forecasting an increase in the average selling price for the iPhone now that Apple has so many different price points you can buy. And then, importantly, they're not expecting everybody to buy the X. They are expecting, in fact, a lot of people to buy the 8, a lot of people to buy the 7 and earlier, and then some people to buy the top-of-the-line phone. And putting all of that together, they think that this can take the stock right to 200, which would be a $1 trillion company. So let us hope, we Apple shareholders, and I will say that I am still one of them, that we do have an extended run here into next year.